Hello, welcome back. Welcome to another day of 12 days of Christmas content. I hope you've been enjoying this series so far. And I wanted to do this video today in front of my Christmas tree, which I think decorating my Christmas tree was the last video that you saw. I think, if I'm thinking about my schedule correctly. So I thought this was the perfect place to film a book haul. So these are all books that I have brought into my home within the past couple of months, really since my last book haul. So there's not too many of them. I have really pared down the number of books that I bring into my house. I'm not reading as much these days, and I'm just being a lot more selective on the books that I am reading and bringing into my house and keeping physically on my shelves. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first book I actually got, I think in like September when I was in Minneapolis. I flew to Minnesota for work and we stopped in Minneapolis, well, we flew into Minneapolis and we went to the Mall of America, which I hadn't been to in years. And we went to the Barnes & Noble there. It is beautiful. And I was able to pick up Strange Sally Diamond by Liz Nugent because I was going to buddy read this with some friends. I have since soft DNF'd it, but I think I might come back to it. And this is about a girl who was adopted, and then now as an adult she's like learning some sinister things about her life and finds herself in the spotlight. So that's all I know about it. It was really slow and kind of graphic, so I don't know, I might pick this up again in the future. We shall see. And then the next book I picked up is a romance, and it is The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. I did read the first one of these, The Soulmate Equation. I think I read that a long time ago, so maybe I should reread it to refresh my memory. But this I picked up, I think this is used or like imperfect or something. I got it a little bit of a discount at the grand opening to a romance bookstore near me. It says, sparks fly when a romance novelist and a documentary filmmaker join forces to craft the perfect Hollywood love story, but only if they can keep the chemistry between them from taking the whole thing off script. So I think it is in the same world as The Soulmate Equation, and I've heard pretty good things about it. And this is kind of thicker than what I would have thought a Christina Lauren romance would be, but I like Christina Lauren books. I've given multiple of them 5 stars, so definitely excited to pick that one up. Hopefully I like it. And then the next book I just got on Black Friday, and it is The Intruder by Frida McFadden. It was 50% off at Barnes & Noble for their Black Friday sale, and it has these really nice, I keep wanting to say end papers, sprayed edges. And this is a survival story, that's all I know, but Jessie from the channel Reading with Jess, her book club read this last month, the Sleep When I'm Dead book club, and so I really want to read this and watch the discussion because I didn't have a chance to do it beforehand. But I really like Frida McFadden. I've given multiple of her books 5 stars, so hopefully I like that one as well. And then the other book that I picked up on Black Friday was Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison, and this is a friends to lovers and also fake dating romance, and it's a Christmas romance about somebody who runs a Christmas tree farm. And I know multiple people who have really enjoyed this book, so I generally don't dislike romances unless they really do something to piss me off. Generally they're like 3 stars, so this one will probably be 3 stars as well, but I really wanted some sort of Christmassy, holiday-y romance to really get me into the spirit. Next, I picked up The Woman in Suite 11 by Ruth Ware, and this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and it is absolutely just beautiful. It's stunning, and I love the end papers. Those are actual end papers, right? And the sprayed edges. It is just beautiful. I love Ruth Ware. I have given multiple of Ruth Ware books 5 stars and others 4 stars. I think the lowest I've ever given a Ruth Ware book is like 3 stars. I just really love them. I've DNF'd a couple of Ruth Ware books, so I don't think those count because I didn't actually rate them. But this, I don't even know what it's about. I know I read the first one, The Woman in Cabin 10, years ago. Like when I first got into Book of the Month in like 2015, 2016, absolutely loved it, was blown away. And this says this is the follow-up to that. Lo Blacklock returns to attend the opening of a luxury hotel only to find herself in a white-knuckled race across Europe. Very excited. And I like to have the physical copy of Ruth Ware books so that I can listen and read, because sometimes the narrators don't always jive with me for Ruth Ware books. So we'll see. And then the last section that I have of books are Book of the Month books. First, I have my November picks and also my December picks. So in November, I picked up 2 books, and the first one is Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham. I've read all of Stacey Willingham's books. I've given them all at least 3 stars, I think. I think 3 and 4 stars, really. Whoa, this is a very long synopsis, and I don't even care to read this right now. 22 years ago, Claire's older sister Natalie disappeared shortly after her 18th birthday. Days later, her blood was found in a car, a man was arrested, and the case was swiftly closed. Okay. And then she finds an old diary, so it seems like maybe she has to drum up the past. Claire quickly finds herself immersed in her own dark and dangerous past. So yeah, I haven't really heard too much about this yet, but I tend to just do pretty well with Stacey Willingham's books, and they tend to be pretty quick, easy reads. Next, we have The Heartbreak Hotel by Ellen O. Clover, and I was interested in this because I have really enjoyed books in the past set at bed and breakfasts and hotels. So this is a bed and breakfast for the brokenhearted that might hold the key to another chance at love in this achingly hopeful debut romance. So I'm pretty sure that this girl opens this hotel and falls in love with maybe the landlord. And it's set in Colorado, and my dad's family is from Colorado. We vacation there every year. So I thought that that was kind of an interesting setting for this to be in. And I've heard that this is pretty hard hitting. I think Gwen read it recently, and I'm pretty sure she cried. So we shall see. And then we have my December books, and the first one is Best Offer Wins by Marissa Cashino. And I think this was a debut, maybe? I'm pretty sure. Yes, this is a debut. It says, an insanely competitive housing market, a desperate buyer on the edge. Marissa Cashino's darkly hilarious debut novel asks, how far would you go for the house of your dreams? So it's set in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., which is where I grew up. And I know the housing market there, and I know how absolutely crazy it gets, and I know what the type of home buyer in that area can be like. So I definitely can see this being very like tongue-in-cheek and also like make me feel very seen as a former Novaite that is still recovering. Says it's dark, biting, and laugh out loud funny. Razor sharp exploration of class ambition and the modern housing crisis. So that's kind of different than what I would typically pick up, but we'll see. And then the last book is Where He Left Me by Nicole Bart. And I've read a book by Nicole Bart in the past, and it actually had a very, very similar cover to this one. I do know that Nicole Bart is from Iowa, and her previous book was set in Iowa. I do remember that. That's all I remember about the book. But this says, Sadie Sheridan's new husband, Felix, is a professor of planetary sciences, has vowed to never leave her. But when Phoenix doesn't return from a work trip, Sadie is stranded at Hemlock House, the remote mountain homestead where her husband grew up. Doubt creeps into Sadie's heart, then panic. Where is he? So survival story, maybe, locked door. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a try. Okay, those are all of the books that I've picked up recently. Please let me know down in the comment section if you've read any of these books, and if so, what did you think of them? Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my Christmas content this season, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.